It started as a war on terror, spawned by the deadliest terrorist attack in history.
You're either with us or you're with the enemy. That's clear.
But the circle of America's enemies grew quickly and included nations that had nothing to do with 9/11. They were defined by George Bush as the axis of evil.
Some of these regimes have been pretty quiet since September the 11th, but we know their true nature. North Korea is a regime arming with missiles and weapons of mass destruction while starving its citizens. Iran aggressively pursues these weapons and exports terror, while an unelected few repress the Iranian people's hope for freedom. Iraq continues to flaunt its hostility toward America and to support terror.
2 years after 9/11, the U.S. invaded Iraq on the grounds that it had weapons of mass destruction and was doing business with Al-Qaeda, grounds which proved to be false. Hundreds of thousands of Iraqi civilians have died since the invasion.
They used the moment in the wake of 9/11 to divert from Afghanistan, our real target, should have been our real target, and go to Iraq. It also was the low-hanging fruit. North Korea was far more dangerous, but too difficult. 100,000 casualties were predicted by the Pentagon on both sides. Seoul would be destroyed. Iran was too difficult. 70 million people, not fractured like the Iraqis into Sunni and Shia and Christian and other.
As for the motives behind invading Iraq, some talk oil.
Iraq right now is sitting on probably 200 billion barrels, maybe 300 billion barrels. That's Iraq's own oil report. Maliki plans to be at 13 million barrels per day production capacity in 7 years. That surpasses Saudi Arabia. Now you know why Dick Cheney went to war in Iraq.
Others blame America's self-assigned role as the world's policeman.
The driving idea behind it is that of hegemonic stability. The idea is that the world is going to be a more secure place overall if there is a unipolar world, a sole remaining superpower. Much of what has happened post 9/11 in the name of responding to 9/11 has been a pretext.
As terrorism was no longer the only reason for landing on Washington's enemy list, the U.S. had even more far-reaching plans on the table. Former Vice President Dick Cheney says he urged the Bush administration to bomb Syria at one time because of its alleged nuclear weapons program, a move which experts say would have had disastrous effects on the region. President Obama was elected on hopes that he would end the endless wars overseas, which most Americans are opposed to. But he continues and adds one more, another oil-rich nation, Libya, and this time in the name of removing an evil dictator. Some worry Syria could be next.
We have an executive power that is beyond any check by the people, by the Congress, or by the courts for war. We can go to war at the drop of a coin. We've reached a point now where the President of the United States can kill people for state purposes anytime he or she feels the need.
Since 9/11, America's war on terror has crossed many borders, from Pakistan to Yemen and other countries. The chase for a handful of terrorists has turned the lives of entire nations upside down. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of innocent lives taken by the decade of constant war. And many worry that a tragedy as great as 9/11 has served as a pretext for an even greater tragedy, one that has no end in sight. I'm Ganesh Chakyan reporting from Washington. RT.